All right. No cat yet?
She was around earlier.
All right. She'll be around, I'm sure.
Oh
Mine will
yes.
also, I'm sure, be around. One of them
Will be around.
will be
Yes.
around.
My name is Ben,
And I'm Amanda.
and this is Seasoned Readings. Welcome as we journey towards the end of this book because I can't wait because I started the second book.
I heard you had started it and we're already whining, I think was the
I
text
was
that
I
I
did
received.
yes, I did a little bit of whining, but I like it so much better already. It's already like the way
How far are you?
I'm like 15%, so I don't know how many hours that is. But
I have to look at mine. Because I took a pause on it, one, because I didn't want to get too far ahead.
what's fair?
And I was also like, I want to listen to podcasts right now because I've had a lot of like phone call heavy days at work. Yeah, I'm about 14%. So we're
Okay,
like
yeah.
right there.
I like it. I like it way better already. I think it's much better.
I'm
Um,
still pretty lukewarm,
that's fair. I mean, like the
but
spicy content is
it's still non-existent.
yeah. Like well, there's the one scene in the beginning, and then but even
Oh
then,
my
that was kind
God.
of like there's a kitty. There she is.
There she is. Hello,
That's
Miss
no,
Nova.
get away. That's spicy. Okay, I don't want cat hair in my tea because it's
It's
everywhere. I
extra
don't.
flavor,
It's that
extra
time of the.
seasoning.
It's that time of the year. It's like it's all over.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Little glitter, kitty glitter.
sure. Which I don't like regular glitter, so
Well,
uh,
well, then
just a
there's that.
pain. Just a pain to clean up.
Yeah. Aw,
Yep.
she being cute. All right, there was there,
Yep.
and that was your moment of cuteness brought to
What is
you
it? Yeah.
by Nova the cat.
Nova. Nova the cat.
Nova the
She
cat.
only has one name. Milo, bless his soul, had like 50. He was like Milo Bear Claw, uh, Mr. Mr. Patterson the third or something like that. I forget why. We just kept calling him different things because it just seemed to fit.
That's usually how it goes.
All
Well, I was gonna
right.
say both of my cats do have a first and last name, and it is hyphenated with my last name.
Oh,
So
that's cute. That's nice. Yeah.
yeah, so I have Mavis Cat and then Gomez Adams.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I like it.
And then yeah, I call Mavis everything but Mavis.
Everything but
She's the princess. She
you
is the prettiest girl in the whole wide world. I tell her all the time.
is it everything but Mavis? Like that's the name?
Yeah.
That should be it.
I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, like her name is Mavis, but we
But
don't call her
but
that ever.
mm-mm, no.
Cat.
Yeah. Man, I finished another book, hence
What
why I
book did you
started
finish?
Red Rising. I don't know if you've heard of
Oh,
it.
I've heard about it. It's been on my
Okay.
TBR.
Really
There's like
has
five or six of them in the series, aren't there?
I just read the first one.
Yeah.
It says it's a trilogy. I don't know if I'll
Okay.
read the next one.
Oh, weren't sold?
It's okay. Unlike ACOTAR,
Hmm.
uh, it's like it starts off heavy, and I mean, there's no spicy. It's
But it's just
spiceless.
heavy. It's heavy fantasy, right?
It's sci-fi.
Oh, sci-fi.
Sort
Okay.
of, sort of. It's like it takes place on Mars, like a
Okay.
futuristic Mars, like a like a Total Recall type of deal, sort of.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like this guy is like a kind of like a working class, so to speak, and his like trials and tribulations, and then stuff happens.
And then stuff.
I won't get into much detail, but there's
No.
very like it starts off awesome. The writing, the linguistics, the dialogue, it's like the words are just palpable. You just like
Hmm.
just want to brain chew in it or whatever. I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but anyway, it's just in the narrator for the book. is. It's just phenomenal, and he has like this Irish accent for the like
Oh,
the first like quarter. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I was listening as soon as I started the book. I was just like floored. I'm just like, oh my God, I love this. And then in typical male fashion, it finishes pretty quick.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. Unfortunately, but then after a short rest, it does a lot better after near the
okay.
end. So
Hey, gotta get that warm up. It's fine.
right, yeah. It's like it's a shame because like it does start off really good, and then it goes places that like I didn't really care for.
Okay.
Not to say it was written poorly or bad. It's just like it wasn't
It
or
wasn't
like
for you.
wasn't for me. Um, and then it does like this fantasy thing. Like it's hard to explain. Like it's almost like it should have been a fantasy book at certain parts.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into it without spoiling. So, but
That
the
might
end.
be like why I've seen it in conversations on Book Talk, kind of
Mhm.
included in lists of like the Priory of the Orange Tree and like some of like this stuff, like the Sarah J. Maas stuff, where it's probably has some fantasy elements to it that is drawing people.
Or I should may not fantasy. I should say I should be more specific. It's more like medieval.
Oh,
Yeah,
which
it's
could be
weird.
fantasy.
It is definitely it has Hunger Games vibes,
Oh, okay.
which I don't like.
Oh,
I'm not that I'm a again. Hunger Games is good. I read the entire series. It's good. It's a good series. I just it maybe just not for me kind of a thing.
I mean,
And
Hunger
that
Games.
trope is the trope is getting old.
I
Like
mean, and it's not everyone can do it as well as Suzanne Collins did
yeah,
with the Hunger Games. That's why it's like it's one of those things where it's like there is so much clamor in that fandom, and it had such a renaissance on Book Talk.
yeah.
Um, that it actually like prompted me to even go back and I re-listened to everything.
Did you really?
And I did. And it is so good what she
Yeah.
did. And I forced
So
Kyle to watch the movies for the first time too.
did
Like
you
we did a
really?
whole, yeah, he'd never seen the movie, so I forced him to watch all four.
If you like that movie, or if you
Mhm.
like that series, you should watch a Japanese film, which maybe you've already seen it, called Battle Royale.
I've heard all about Battle Royale. I've never watched it, but I've heard all about it.
Battle Royale is where that trend started.
Yeah,
Like with the whole like throwing young
mm,
kids or just people in general into like this
into
group
yeah.
and battling out till the end. Yeah, it's a super cool movie. There is English dub, so you don't have to, but you can always do the subtitle too.
I have a low tolerance for subtitle. It takes me just a little bit longer.
Yeah,
I can do it, but I definitely can only do it in short bursts.
there's English. I'm pretty sure there's English dub. I'm pretty sure that's how I originally watched it.
Yeah. Well, it's how I watched. I actually like. I've watched Squid Game a few times, which has that same very similar kind of vibe. Is people kind of battling to the death for this like life changing sum of money.
Right.
In these kind of games, and like it's one
Hmm.
of those I'm really curious to see because I know there's been like long talks about a second season coming for Squid Game,
Yeah.
and we've yet to get that like release date or anything done yet. So I am hesitant because I'm like I feel like it hit in such a moment of time, kind of how I feel about the Hunger Games, where it's like you can keep going back to it and getting stuff out of it,
Hmm.
but she
Yeah.
wrote it at such a time when there was
Oh,
so much like going on that she was kind of working through. It's kind of why, like, as much as it is a cash cow, she's not like just pumping out more Hunger Games books to just
sure.
capitalize on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it would have been a lot better if they stopped the games after this first book. But then again, I mean, I don't know.
But I
It
mean, the games were the control, so that was why the capital like they had this death grip on them, which is why they sent the tributes back. Was it was like, oh, you
Sure,
thought you
sure.
were safe because you were tributes? Nope,
We're gonna
think again.
change the paradigm.
Right, exactly.
It says that a lot in Red Rising. But yeah, but what's yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Battle Royale
Yeah.
with high school children, and it's like this like kind of like not far future, but relatively recent future,
Mhm.
and they're sent because they're just teenagers are just delinquents all around the world or all over
Okay.
Japan, and it's just like so to like put them in their place, we send them to the battle royale. It's wild. It's
I'm gonna have to
crazy.
like track it down.
Yeah, you might. It's not. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it is pretty old because I'm old.
I mean, I know it has like
I'm
a late 80s release, right? Like it's
pretty sure
old, or is it
it
early
might have been like
2000s?
I think it was like late 90s, early 2000s, but I could be wrong. I could definitely
I'm
be
gonna, you
wrong.
know what? Why are we pretending like we do not have access
I
to
don't.
La
The internet.
Googla?
No, yeah, no, I don't. I don't Google this late at night. It's dangerous.
Oh, is it? It's a
Yeah.
2000 film.
Okay. So hey, well, all right. It's pretty close.
There you
Uh,
go. Yeah.
on that
I thought it
note,
was a lot older.
oh yeah, that's fair. Well, admittedly. Anyway,
Apparently, it was
um,
banned in the US.
was it really?
Apparently, there was at one
Interesting.
point. They
That's
refused to license it for North American distribution
hmm.
for a while.
Well, speaking
So,
about Japanese culture, I know this. I do want to bring this up briefly because I don't know if
okay.
you heard about this. It's an unfortunate happening, but Japanese artist, manga artist and creator Akira Toriyama. Do you know who he
Yeah, I did
is?
hear about
Okay,
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know this podcast doesn't really, we're not going to be releasing it in a time, the time of his passing, but he did pass away earlier this month. But we just found out about it recently.
Mhm.
Huge artist, like, and the reason why he's like dear to my heart is because he made he helped co-create Chrono Trigger and did
Mhm.
most all the animations for it, and it's just like all-time favorite game. And Dragon Ball Z, for those of you that didn't know,
Like the
Dragon Quest
biggest,
games.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Dragon Ball Z is like why anime is probably as popular as it is in the United States. So it's a
Oh
huge
yeah, no, I mean
figure.
he's absolutely responsible. Like
Yeah,
he between him and Miyazaki, like they absolutely
yeah,
changed the face of anime
yeah.
and really made it this main like this thing that's like global.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like their creativity and like their things took made it come to this like global level. Like so if there's like a Mount I feel like if there's a Mount Rushmore of anime creators, like you put him up there.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So
68.
yeah,
He was only 68, which is
he was
unfortunate.
very young, very young. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess supposedly he was working on a couple projects, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get to
It
see
happens.
those. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So
It is. It is sad. And that's why, yes, as much as like we aren't an anime,
no,
it
not at
is
all. But
something that is in this realm of pop culture.
and that's why I
And
bring it up because it just,
yeah.
his work has probably touched something that somebody's watched
Mhm.
or seen or something without even knowing it. So,
Oh, 100%.
hearts
Like,
out to his family and to
mhm.
him, and hope he's penning his work up in heaven right now, doing his thing.
Oh, I'm sure he's doing all the things he couldn't manage to do here because
Apparently,
he did so much. He was very
yeah,
prolific.
yeah. And then okay, one more piece. I got one more thing to
You know,
bring
one more
up.
little news piece. Okay.
I did some research,
Oh,
um, and I found a piece of literature that I think will put all the dragon argument aside.
oh, we're gonna argue dragons. Okay.
Behold,
The
The
dragon.
Dragons by Gail Gibbons. I'll have you know that this book is the de facto book for
Oh, is it?
yeah, it is. It is.
Is it peer reviewed?
My daughter, she went
Oh,
through it
okay.
and made sure.
Oh,
Uh,
good, good. I forgot
she's
she is
she
a dragon scholar.
she's an aficionado at the very least. So
Aficionado.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she went through and was like, that one's scary, and and let me know like which ones. But just so
So
you
which
know,
ones are scary?
most of them, it turns out.
Oh, wow.
Hold on, where was it? But apparently there are people called draconologists,
Okay.
and they have divided dragons into separate. I'm gonna see if I can get this right, into categories. Okay, so we
Oh,
have,
okay.
yeah. So this is a little fun little learning thing.
Yeah,
There's
I love this.
We got our serpent dragons.
We're
So
gonna do something fancy here.
okay, let's see it. Let's see. I have to try and hold this up.
We're gonna bring it down. Oh, there you
Okay.
go. And then you are like right in center. Like it is just this picture.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I hate to say it, but these are dragons. They
They
don't have any
don't.
wings, nor
They
do they have
don't.
legs.
They don't. Well, those serpent dragons. I mean, but that goes and falls into that like Chinese dragon, you
Yeah,
know.
which those come, hold on, let's see those.
Oh, are
So
those a
these
whole
was
different category?
Yeah, these are leviathans, lambton worm.
Oh,
I've never
see.
heard of. I don't know what that is. Carthaginian serpent.
Okay.
Oh, and then we have semi-dragons,
Oh,
which are these are the ones with like, why I feel like, yeah, wyvern,
yeah.
uh, and then the other
They
thing.
look like bats.
Right. And then you have the ones that these are your dragons, I think. The
My
classical.
European dragon, yes. My
Yep.
classic, see, my classic dragon, my
Yeah.
European dragon with the four legs and the
It,
wings.
admittedly, the class, like if you're thinking of dragon, like this is what I think of.
No, agreed.
But I will say, hold on, let me see.
But there's room for like, we were talking Miyazaki, like you look at Spirited Away
Yeah.
and that dragon.
Sky dragons.
Here we are.
Uh-huh. Have you ever heard of
See?
amphitheater? Hold on.
No, I haven't.
Let's see if I can get it in focus here. Amphitheater.
Okay.
Yeah, amphitheater. It's in English.
The rooster one seems familiar
Oh,
to me.
these are my favorite. Ready? Neo dragons,
Neo dragons.
which I never really considered these dragons at all, but I mean, I'll take it. Yeah, the cockatrices, the basilisks, this one
Yeah.
I need to learn about this one. This one is these other two are French.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Peluda.
Oh.
It
Okay.
says doesn't say anything about it. The Tarisk, which is also
Oh.
French. This is an ugly looking thing. Look at that mug. There's just dude's face on there.
It's a weird human-like face.
Uh-huh. It's a far
That's
cry from our classical dragons. But anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to update you
I
on
appreciate this.
yeah, and
Where
then
does Trogdor fall in all of this?
the dragon,
Trogdor the Burninator.
the Burninator, indeed. He is burninating the countryside most of the time. I think he would fall in classical dragons despite his maybe the
Only one
classification.
one arm.
Right, yeah. I think
I feel like he could also firmly be ushering in the Neo Dragon era.
that's true. He's kind of he's kind of he's a he's kind of a
I mean,
swing dragon, a swing.
he
There he
is.
is. Yeah,
He is what he
yeah.
needs to be, a big S.
Right,
And then
yep.
the consummate V's.
Consummate these, consummate. Such a
Oh
good.
man, we are so old then.
I know, strong bad forever in my heart.
Forever. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, they even include the
Oh,
Hydra
like
as
the Hydra. Okay. I
the
could see
Hydra as a
that. Like,
dragon.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, this
that
is
makes
actually
sense to me.
it's a pretty cool book. It was like this little pickup I grabbed at the library, and I
I
was
love it.
reading it to my little daughter. Yeah, it was funny. I was reading through it and I was like, oh, I gotta bring this up.
Yeah, like
But yeah,
this was important, even though we don't
this
have any dragons really in
none.
ACOTAR.
No, there's no dragons.
None.
None. Absolutely none. But
But
this is. I have a feeling this is going to be an ongoing topic for us for
I do love a dragon.
probably
So
forever. Yeah. Yeah.
I do love a dragon. I mean, an argument could be I have Cthulhu's too up in here. Like
Cthulhu's. Yeah, Cthulhu's
I
are
have
good
multiple
too.
Cthulhu's. We love
Yep.
an elder god here, you know.
What was the book? Not the Necronomicon, but the other one that H.P. Lovecraft always talked about. I forget.
I mean, the Necronomicon was like the big one.
Yeah, but I think there's another one. I don't know. I listened to his compilation a few years back, and that was so good. Anyway.
Oh, then I need to share this with you because as I've been reorganizing bookshelves,
Oh, that sounds
and
like a feat.
it is. Well, every now and then we got to go through and we Marie Kondo and we wake everything up and
Yes.
you get the energy flowing again. Make sure
Mm-hmm.
everything still sparks joy.
Spark that joy. Spark that
Certainly
joy.
sparks joy because it is a
Yes.
cloth bound H.P. Lovecraft
Oh, that is awesome.
with a little shimmer.
Yeah.
And then I put my fancy.
Where is it? There it is.
There it is.
That's so cool.
But it has a beautiful weight to it on the paper. And then, yeah, that cloth bound with all of the tentacles.
That is awesome. That's super
And then,
cool.
yeah, this was a used bookstore find.
Really?
I did, yeah. I found it at this rando little used bookstore in Pittsburgh, right in downtown.
Huh.
And it was just, I saw it and went, it's a cloth bound H.P. Lovecraft. I don't have a complete collected work. So
now you do.
now I do.
You know the guy was dirt poor?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, none of his stuff really took off till after he passed.
No, that
It's
makes sense.
crazy, crazy. Anyway,
Actually, because he's kind of like between him and Poe, like they're these features in horror.
yeah, yeah,
Like that Lovecraftian horror is like a genre.
yeah. It might as well be at this point. And I
I
feel like
mean,
it's making it's having its own renaissance. Maybe not getting that big, but in
well,
the
I think
video game realm, there's like that kind of horror is coming back a little bit.
well, and I think Guillermo del Toro's been attached to a Call of Cthulhu adaptation for years at this point.
Really?
Hmm. Which would be good, like him doing it, but
Yeah,
it has
absolutely.
been years that he has been
Hmm.
apparently optioning this and working on this. So,
That's no yeah, that's
but it's
unfortunate.
a hard one. How do you do Call of Cthulhu?
Which
I mean, it's
which one is that one? I can't remember at
uh,
this point. Was
it's
that the first one?
I don't think it was the first one, but it's one of his short stories, and it is like I remember listening to it not that many years ago, and there is so much of it that is so atmospheric, and it's the sounds that they're hearing of the beast coming and the madness with like there's so
Hmm.
much of that that is just I think
Yeah.
difficult to translate to film.
I mean, all of his stuff would be just because it was just very,
Mhm.
yeah, like you said, atmospheric.
Very atmospheric,
Yeah.
very much. So, are we
Yeah.
ready to get into actually
I
kind of the
I've
most horror aspect of this book?
It's true. Yeah, I think we are ready to move on because we have delayed
We
and
have, but it was a beautiful
we have
segue.
dallied. Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
that worked
let
out. You're absolutely right. This We are coming up to um it was the day after or shortly after the Naga attack, and
and the surreal,
they
yeah.
got the Surreal, the Naga, and
I almost feel like the way it reads is that it's the same night
oh, because it happens in like the middle. You're right. Okay.
because she wakes in the middle of the night. So it's one of those things where it's like she walks out, she goes to bed, and then she is awoken in the middle of the night from a nightmare.
And this is chapter, we should, I guess,
Chapter 17.
chapter 17 is one we're on now.
Yes.
Yeah. By screams and yelling, I think, and then or
Mhm.
just like a loud uh ruckus is happening.
No, it was honestly, she had a nightmare.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh,
It
that's
was,
right.
yeah.
You're
She
right. She
jerked
has
away because she's having this PTSD
uh-huh
from the surreal and a faceless woman dragging her.
technically be acute
Um,
trauma, but that's okay.
like,
Sorry.
okay. That no, I mean you're right. I,
But
I
yes,
lump
she's
it into
waking
a
from
PTSD because I feel like she has a lot of
oh yeah, well that's true too. Yes.
complex PTSD from other things
Sure, that's
in her
fair.
life. So this is maybe just a new trigger for her. But no, we can
Either
go with
way,
just the
wakes
acute
up.
trauma.
She wakes and she comes out into the hallway.
Hmm.
And then is
Well,
that
yeah,
when
she
she
wakes.
hears it?
It's no, it's literally like so she wakes up from the nightmare. The
Hmm.
minute she has consciousness, she hears the scream.
Okay. Okay, that's what it
And
is.
that's when
All right.
she takes off down the stairs.
And
Uh,
here's Tamlin. Tamlin comes just
rushing in, yeah.
yeah, coming in through I don't know,
The
crashing
grate.
through the doors
Yeah.
and has a mess of a fairy in his arms, and
Hmm.
he's shouting stuff at people, telling them
Hmm.
to get stuff and do stuff, and he like kind of does the whole thing where he's got the person just clears off the table and sets them
Hmm.
down. Um, Lucian comes and is there, and Lucian just starts vomiting profusely.
Yeah,
He
Lucian
just
cannot handle
can't
the
handle.
the gore that I mean, because this is very kind of a gory scene
Yeah,
that we're
blood's
kind of being
dripping.
brought because his this we find very quickly that this fairy's wings have been ripped off and he was just dumped on the border of
Not
the springboard.
trimmed, not
Ripped,
like
yeah.
cut, not clean cut.
Mm-mm.
There's, I think she describes it as stumps protruding out, and there's just
Mm-hmm.
nothing after that. I think it's like colored blood too, if we're getting specific. I don't remember exactly. Um,
Um, I
it
mean, we
doesn't, I
know
don't know if it really
that
matters, but
yeah, no, she just the fairy is definitely not one of the fairies that looks very human because she talks about like
teeth. I remember she
very
mentions the teeth.
teeth, gold, iridescent veins. So, and I believe the it's almost blue
Yeah,
in
okay.
skin tone.
Yeah, I think its eyes might have been something different as well. So yeah, a very
Mhm.
different looking Fae than we've known so far. Um, and the thing is, it's shouting, or it's
It can say only
she
she took
took
my wings.
she took my wings. She took
Mhm.
my wings. Ugh. Ugh.
Just
Yeah,
blood gushing. Yeah.
the Tamlin can't seem to do anything.
No.
Magic's not. There's no magic was going to cure it. Was going to or
Mhm.
heal it. Um, it's pretty obvious after a bit of back and forth that it was going to pass. It was going to die, and I think Feyre runs down. I don't know if this is before or after, but she ends up holding its hand or arm or something, or
Yeah. So basically, like Lucian just can't,
he can't
like
can't cut
he,
it. Yeah,
I
unfortunately,
mean, unfortunately, yeah, for whatever Lucian's got going on, it's the gore of the situation. He can't,
can't
he
hack
is
it.
of no use. He just, and he definitely feels really bad about that. Like you can tell like there's some shame in it. And so yeah, Feyre kind of steps up to try and help Tamlin
And she
try
is.
and heal these wounds that will not clot. And this poor fairy, he's bleeding out. Like,
Yeah, just like yeah, and she's repeating over and over. She took my ring. She took my
mhm,
wings. She took my wings. And Feyre's, kind of like holding his hand, be like, "You're gonna get it back." Just basically just knowing that this is the end. And I think she even says she feels bad for lying, but just trying to
yeah,
ease the poor thing's last few breaths before it passes.
yeah, like she is. She's just like kind of, stroking his hair. It's gonna be okay. Like,
Mhm.
don't worry. You're gonna get them back. She says she's making these promises to him kind of in those last moments.
Yeah.
Um, and then Tamlin kind of steps in and begins speaking kind of like a prayer, it seems like, because
Hmm.
he speaks of Cauldron saving you and that the mother holds you, pass through the gates and smell the immortal land of milk and honey. So it's like there's a prayer, like a last rites is
A
kind of
lament,
how I.
like a lament almost, or
Mhm.
well, but it's not like singing. I guess he's just kind of saying it. But
Yeah, he's just reciting the words of a prayer, is how she describes it.
yeah.
Um, and and then that was it. And she struggles, I think, with that because she still holds his hand even after he's passed.
Yeah.
And Tamlin kind of has to step in and be like, "Nope, you gotta go back to bed.
Hmm.
You know, we're
And he's,
going to bury him.
we'll
Like,
take
don't
care of,
worry."
yeah,
Mhm.
we'll get this cleaned up. We'll make sure he's taken care of properly.
Mhm.
And
We see a
yeah.
soft side of Tamlin, I think, come out in this because he kind of tells her, he's like, "I'm going to walk you upstairs first." And she is fighting him on this. Like she
Yeah.
wants to be a part of like this burial process. Don't just leave him on this table, all of this. And he's like, and he tells her, like, no, I have to do this alone. This is a
Mm.
thing that I have to do. And it's such a moment for Tamlin. I think this is when like he kind of starts to worm into my heart a little bit, where I
Yeah,
start to be
yeah.
like, okay, okay, Tamlin.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No,
Um,
yeah, no, I mean it's definitely like he's finally showing some character and some like sympathy that you
there's a
have kind of almost
vulnerability.
yet, yeah, a vulnerability that you almost have yet to see.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think this is kind of the turning point for his character. Like as we see in subsequent chapters, he's finally starting to like show who he really is. He's starting to,
Mhm.
he's already started to warm up to Feyre and to her to him, and they're exchanging smiles and looks, and he's showing her different places, and just opening up the
Well, and I do think this is a turning point for their relationship too, because he
yeah.
kind of questions her, like, on the best day, you hate us. So, like, what was different about this? Like, why was
Hmm.
this different for you? And that's when she's like, she is also very vulnerable in this moment and tells him that she wouldn't want to die alone.
Hmm.
And that was important to her. That's why she sat there and held his
Stayed
hand.
with him. Yeah.
And then they have their heart to heart about Andress, and she tells him how much she regrets killing Andress, who was our wolf at the very beginning of this. Only
Right.
17 chapters later are
Only
we feeling
then.
remorse.
It took a while, but yeah, now I'm sorry.
Yeah, I am sorry about that. So
Yeah.
very sorry.
So very sorry.
And then
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah.
of ends the chapter. It's a very quick kind of chapter. Um,
It's a hard, yeah, like
it
fast and
hits hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Mhm.
and we definitely, I think it's also very interesting because we actually, this is sort of the first time we see, well, not the first time we see the Suriel and Naga and stuff, but this is kind of like a potentially peaceful or I'll just put it this way, potentially peaceful fairy, or maybe some kind of one on Tamlin's side, or one that's not evil or that would want to kill her. Maybe we don't know that he could want to kill her, and but
It's
that was a bad
definitely
time,
it
yeah,
was definitely, yeah, it was painted as like this is kind of your run of the mill fair. Like I felt like this was the everyman of the fairy. Like he was just doing his thing
yeah,
and someone ripped his wings off and dumped his bleeding body off.
just like laid him out and just like yeah, like this. That, like, sorry, it's you. We rolled the dice, and or you drew this. You drew
Right.
the shortest
Wrong place,
straw.
wrong time.
Yeah.
Which
I
I
don't think
think is
we never though get I don't we never get details on who he is though.
no, he's
Um,
nobody.
but is he?
At least at this point, I think we can safely say that he was, like I said, he kind of, I think, is supposed to, for Feyre, I think this is supposed to be that it's her turning point towards loving this species of people. Maybe
Right.
not loving, but at the very least
Just
tolerating and
yeah.
accepting
Uh-huh.
because maybe she sees herself in him. Um, she sees parallels. I think the fact that she brings up Andrus means like she's seeing a parallel here between how Andrus was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and she shot and killed him and sold his fur.
Right.
And this guy was probably in the
Doing the
wrong
same thing.
place at the wrong time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a it's a neat little dynamic that's
I see
being
what you're saying.
created here.
Yeah.
Like we're getting these parallels to these two stories. And I think it's obviously intentional
Mm.
because this is some of growth that we're starting to see in Feyre is that at the end of the day, when death comes, no one wants to be alone when they die.
Right.
Human, Fae, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Yeah, that was I think that yeah, and I think it's just yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really have a whole lot to add other than like it definitely feels like she's sympathizing, right? And
Mhm.
she's she's understanding. Uh
I mean, I would
it,
almost go so far as it's beyond sympathy at this point. It's she's empathizing with this
yeah.
and she's seeing them as people.
Yeah, and she's coming from a place where she's constantly talking about how how better off they are or how great they are and how powerful, and then there's also a kind of a humbling aspect of like, okay, well, they experience loss just like I do, or just like
Yeah.
humans can. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Um, so yeah, it is definitely a turning point for both characters, I think, for
yeah,
our MMC and FMC here. Um, yeah, because she goes out, yeah, because the whole chapter ends with her going up to the room and she watches Tamlin carry the fairy through the garden
hmm
to go bury him alone.
yeah.
And then yeah, then we would
Then
start
move on.
then we move on. I feel
Yeah,
weird like moving on from that. Like it's such a somber like moment. I feel like we have to like almost take a moment.
yeah, that's true. I mean, it was very powerful.
It was.
I don't know that it was given a lot of breath like in the chapter because there's a lot of writing, there's a lot of descriptions, there's a lot of like how she's feeling and how and all the stuff that she's experiencing. Um, whoa, oh,
Go somewhere up there.
oh.
She running around like a crazy person. She's been dancing at my feet. I'm like, okay.
The cats. I don't understand
I'm
them.
gonna put you somewhere out
Nope.
of my way.
She's gonna come right back.
She probably will.
Yeah, she can come right back.
Yeah, she didn't like that I scooped her up like that either.
No, no, she did
She's
not.
fine.
She was very
She's
upset.
fine. Eh.
Yeah,
No, I
so
promise no cats were harmed. She's fine.
yes. I've done worse to my cat.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but
So
yeah, anyway,
great of
yes,
that chapter. Yeah. I
it
mean,
leaves a lot of questions too. Like I definitely left that chapter wondering like who this fairy was, if this fairy was someone important, and like
really?
I did, yeah. Well, I was just kind of
Okay.
curious because like we're getting a smattering of like or splattering or spattering of whatever the saying is of just like the tension between the courts
Mm-hmm.
and like what's like and like there's other stuff going on. We this like woman that is the woman that caused this Lucian that took out Lucian's eye and like we know there's more going on. And I was like, well, maybe this has something to do with it.
No, I think that it's interesting because I didn't have that reaction.
Mhm.
But I kind of took the I'm trying to think like what the right what who it is, but it's like
Sure.
we know the fairy's not named, and so
Yeah.
because he's not named, I kind of
Assume he's
just
not.
he's not important.
Yeah.
I kind of just went with that kind of he's kind of just the
That
red
notion.
shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's gonna get taken down for the good of the story. So it's gonna
Yeah,
be this guy.
and it was
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't ponder
That
um
much.
that much into like who this guy was. Did he have a family, partner? Like I didn't think any of that. I just was
Oh
like,
yeah, I didn't go that far though. There she is. Yeah, I
there
didn't
she
go that far either.
is.
I was just wondering, like, maybe like, well, my thinking is
Please
why,
don't step on the computer.
why would someone like it seems symbolic, right?
It does.
Ripping off
The
wings.
wings
So
are very symbolic, I think.
right, and like, so I kind of wondered, like, okay, maybe this is an important fairy, or it's a message, obviously, but
It's torture. I mean, this guy is
sure.
essentially tortured because they just ripped his wings off.
But
And
and that was my question is like, well, why did he do something? Was he part of something? And like, why send him to the spring court? Like at the border
Mhm.
is very significant. So I'm
Well, and
like,
what border? Because I don't think it ever specifies what border.
it doesn't. I don't. Not that I remember anyway.
Well,
But
and I'm like thinking that, hold on, let me reference my map here because I feel like it could only be one border. Oh no, it could be two. Okay, so it could have been the border of the summer court or the border of the autumn court because spring is the whole lower half. And so it
right,
has two borders. It has a one
spring
long border across the top that is the summer and the
and
autumn.
autumn.
And then the wall is like the next border for the spring court. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's from the
Yeah,
summer. Well, and if it's from autumn, then it does make you start to think like, okay, is this a Lucian? Because we know Lucian is from the
the
autumn
autumn
court.
court. Hmm.
His mother is lady of the autumn court. I think we found out at this point.
I don't
If
remember
not,
if we
it's
did.
coming.
It's not a spoiler at this point.
Like it's
Um,
in the next few chapters. Like we're gonna know this about Lucian.
yeah, actually, I think it's next chapter, chapter 18.
It could right, yeah,
So that might be a good segue.
into chapter
Um,
18 when it's literally the few hours later because it's officially morning at this point.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I assume this
Um,
happened like witching hour. That's where my brain immediately went. Like it's like 3 a.m.
ooh, oh yeah, yeah. It's just like,
when the fairy and everything happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I get that. That pans out.
You know, there's no
Um,
indication. It's just the middle of the night, but I'm like, yeah,
mhm. It's got to be the most significant. So it's got to be at that point.
yeah.
Yeah. But in chapter 18, let's see. Tamlin, she comes down hearing Tamlin and Lucian having a conversation.
Usually.
Lucian.
Usually.
He's a Lucian man.
That's Lou.
Lou, good old Lou.
Louis. Good old
Lou.
Louis.
Lou, what you doing over there? Get over here. Um, Having a conversation, but then they stop, I believe, before she
Yeah, they fell silent
comes
as she came
downstairs.
down the stairs. They're hiding something from her, obviously. They're always
Always,
doing this stuff.
always,
They're
always, always,
always
always,
whispering.
always. Right, yeah. Um, so they decide somehow to go for a ride. So
Mhm.
Tamlin's saying he's going to show Feyre
Yeah, show her
uh,
around.
some of the areas of the spring court.
Yes. While she
Um,
awaits her paint supplies to arrive. That's kind of the
oh, that
pretext here is that she's
gotcha.
like, um, because she's kind of, yeah, she looks around hoping that her paints and stuff have arrived. They haven't. And so he's like, come with us. Your supplies will,
They'll be
arrive until
here.
tomorrow. The gallery's still being cleaned. So we're
Yeah.
just going to go for a ride.
Yeah. And they, and of course, it's just majestic, right? And
It's beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And she's just a loss for words. And I think she gets teased for it or something because all she can say is that it's beautiful or something along those lines.
Well, okay. I want to
Tamlin,
read a little bit
okay.
of the description of where they kind of end up because it's like she kind of basically goes where to and he smiles at her and they head off. It's like, "Oh, look how cute you guys are being."
You're sweet.
Oh. Um but we sat atop a grassy knoll overlooking a glade of oaks so wide and high that they could have been the pillars and spires of an ancient castle. Shimmering tufts of dandelion fluff drifted by, and the floor of the clearing was carpeted with swaying crocuses and snowdrops and bluebells. It was an hour or two past noon by the time we arrived, but the light was thick and golden. I mean, it's this beautiful meadow
I mean, of course it is. It's a
with the
spring court.
wildflowers.
It's
Yes.
a spring court and in Fey lands. Of course, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously bewitched, magicked, whatever you want to call it, because it's spring all the time. So yeah, so of course it's beautiful. But anyway, she's definitely taken back by all of it, and uh, I think
It,
ends up. Go
I
ahead.
think that, sorry, I was like kind of glancing over this, and I think this is again like another one of those things that's very unique to fairy lands because she says that she knows the three of them are alone. So it is like this really cute Lucian, the third wheel, because it's Tamlin, Feyre, and Lou.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's even though she knew they were completely alone, she would have sworn she could hear singing.
Mm.
That it is just that is how majestic things are. That like
It's
there's
just
this
yeah, it's just
magical chorus. It reminds me of like when
ah,
well,
just like
no,
wherever you go, like what is that? What is it?
honestly, you know what it's reminding me of? It's reminding me of the Fellowship of the Ring
Okay.
after Gandalf falls to the Balrog
Hmm.
and they're walking into the forest for the first time to see Lady Galadriel. And there's
Okay.
just like they're in this forest, but
It's
there's you
just
can hear this
there's just
ethereal song.
yeah, light
That's what I'm
the
getting.
light peeking through the trees,
Yes.
just like as they're yeah.
Mhm. And
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
just magical music. And then of
Of
course Tamlin brought a blanket because
course.
homie's been prepared.
Oh, dude's ready this time.
He
Up
is
to this
ready.
up to this point.
His game, oh my god, the game this man is spitting right now.
He steps it up. He steps it
He
up.
does. He's got the blanket. They're gonna have a
Uh
picnic.
Yeah, he takes her to, yeah, they end up, yeah, he lays it out. Well, I think she
Mhm.
makes a joke at some point. There's something in these notes that she made a joke to him about the serial telling Feyre that he liked to be brushed and like stroked
Right.
like like his fur.
Yeah, it's
And
would you let me
she
grovel with gratitude for bringing me? Would you like me to gravel, High Lord?
okay, yeah. So she's finally like making jokes and having fun.
Hmm.
Um
Oh, the joke you're
in
referring to is that the Suriel said that you like being brushed, and if I'm a clever girl, I might train you with treats.
Yeah, there it is. That yeah, just
And I like that they're having this moment.
yeah,
Like all
absolutely.
three of them, really. Because like even Lucian's like, oh my God, you made a joke.
It's yeah, it's like this frolic through the
It is.
the highlands of just
Mhm.
just like this it just seems like otherworldly like compared to how this book has been up to this point,
Yeah, it
which
is
was
like a weird change. Like I feel like the gears have definitely shifted.
yeah, which better late than never. I mean, I think
Yeah,
this book sorely needed some kind of uplifting parts, maybe.
it did.
Um, yeah, but he ends up putting down the blanket, and
Mhm.
I think there was wine involved, and I don't know if there was food or not, but at some point, Lucian says your favorite line, I think, or one of your favorite lines when he's like, if somebody's favorite line, where he's like, "Well, I have something terribly important to do," and
Oh yeah.
gets up and leaves. It just goes because then it's just like because her and Tamlin were getting kind of cozy.
Well, they
Um,
are like so yeah, like they
yeah.
kind of are they're making their little jokes. Lucian starts chugging from the bottle and is still just kind of laughing to himself about that Tamlin likes to be brushed.
Yeah.
And then Tamlin actually grabs her elbow and is like, I want to show you something.
Okay. Yeah.
And Lucian just he knows where he belongs,
He's
and
like,
that's
okay,
the blanket.
go that
And
way.
drinks he's like, I'm gonna just sit here and drink this bottle of wine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And this is when he takes her to the pond, right?
Yeah, this is the sparkling silver pool.
She says it looks like the sky during the night, kind of a
Mhm.
thing, like
Yeah.
almost looking into space. Well, she doesn't say
Yeah.
space, but yeah.
It looks like
Um,
starlight is how she
Starlight,
describes
yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
so he starts to do the whole like getting undressed thing, I think.
Mhm.
And like I
Yeah,
need
there's a
some
lot
lines
of
here.
yeah, there's a
I
lot of
need
like
some
describing of the how beautiful the pool is, and he's like, it
hmm
is starlight.
Right, yeah,
Um,
okay.
like it that's why it looks like it because it
Yeah,
is. Like, duh.
because it is duh, Feyre. Come on.
This is Prithian.
Right. I obviously had imagined it,
um
duh. Yeah, but in he I don't know if he says
so
it
yeah,
yet, but
they
he was
talk about that, and
taken.
then yeah, he unbuttons his tunic.
Uh-huh, yeah.
When I continued gaping at the pool, he laughed, drawing away my attention, only for me to find him unbuttoning his tunic.
Mm-hmm.
Jump in, he said, the invitation dancing in his eyes. A swim, unclothed, alone.
Which does he doesn't get naked though, does he?
I
It doesn't because it doesn't
know.
it says that he gets down to his undergarments at one point, but I don't remember if it actually says he takes off
Um,
his I don't know.
so like okay, so yeah, he left his tunic unbuttoned. There was only
Hmm.
bare muscled golden skin beneath.
Of course.
And then he talks about how it was his favorite place when he was a
As a kid.
boy.
Yep.
So again, they're having this kind of moment. They talk
Hmm.
about Lucian, then they start talking about Lucian and the scar and how he didn't react well to the fairy last night.
Mm.
He endured many things like that. This is when we find out he's the youngest son of the High Lord of the Autumn Court. Um, yeah, so we get a lot of Lucian's kind of backstory. Well, essentially, he's just standing there with his tunic unbuttoned. Like that's it. Like he's just
Okay. For now anyway.
for now they're just standing by the pool. Um, yeah, and kind of like how he
Discussing.
left. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, he was a part of the Autumn Court, and he actually loved a, mm, a mortal or a lesser fairy. It
Um,
was a mortal, wasn't it?
yeah, he was. Let me see here.
It was,
She was a lesser female, so a female who
okay,
were a far cry from the nobility of the Autumn Court.
that's
He
what it was.
fell in
Okay.
love with a fairy whom his father considered to be grossly inappropriate for someone of his bloodline.
So they killed her.
So Lucian's father killed her,
While Lucian,
and he left.
he made Lucian watch.
Yes.
And yeah, so you
Mhm.
know, because as a father, my first thought is like, well, if I remove the distraction, you'll be good.
Right.
Definitely not just leave,
Yeah.
which is what
His
he did.
father had her get executed in front of Lucian as his two eldest brothers held him and made him watch. That is, see, and that's where like the cruelty is. Like it's bad enough that like you killed this woman, but
You're
then you
forced to
forced him to
watch.
watch
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
held him down. Like that is vile.
Yeah. No, that's bad news bears. Don't do that.
Yeah. And so that's when he left, but not before um kind of cursing them. And they came after him, and that's when Tamlin killed one of his brothers and Lucian killed his other brother.
Because he had wandered into this or he
The
was
spring
yeah,
court,
wandered into
yeah.
the spring court and they'd followed him in and yeah.
Yeah. And
And
then
then
that
they've
is
been
when he kind of was like, hey, Bessie.
let's get a heart.
Yeah.
Let's get
Like,
tattoo hearts.
dude, I mean, like, but honestly, it's like they became hetero life mates in this moment, and that was
Yeah.
it. Like, they've been together ever since. Um, his father never apologized. None of his other brothers have come for him. And that
Right.
was that.
Yep. Um,
And then we start moving back towards the pool of water.
and then we start undressing more.
Let me
Come
see.
on, Amanda, get to the spicy stuff. Let's hear it.
I'm sorry.
This is what we came for. No, I
She
should have
cracks
the
another
book.
joke. Yeah, you should.
Okay.
She cracks another joke. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's where we're getting a little like heat.
Get ready.
So,
Get ready with that. Get ready. Yep.
yep.
Or
uh,
the meters the person working the meter is ready.
okay. Um, let's see. Two jokes in one day, a miracle sent from the cauldron, he said, and I cracked a smile. He came a step closer, as if forcibly leaving behind the dark, sad stain of what had happened to Lucian, and the starlight danced in his eyes as he said, what would be enough to make you happy?
Mm.
Mm, that's a
Mm.
that's okay.
Nah.
Fires are lighting.
Yep, up a little bit.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
meters
get up a
going
little
on.
bit. Yeah. No, don't stop. Just hold on. It's probably gonna go higher in a minute.
Yeah, I blushed from my neck to the top of my head.
hmm
Um, and she kind of says some nonsense about that she doesn't know what would make her happy. And he just kind of, oh, not stepping
Mm.
away.
Mm. Mm.
What about the ringing of bluebells or a ribbon of sunshine? And he grinned wickedly. Mm. And she starts to squirm. Like he is her
Yeah.
squirming.
Yeah.
Um, and that she's like, I won't let him have the satisfaction of embarrassing me because he is seeing, I think, his power over her. He is seeing how she is physically reacting to him.
hmm
Um,
And so she tries to play it coy.
yeah, so she does. So she gives him a
She's
sweet
just
smile, doing her best to pretend that her stomach isn't flipping over itself. And she says that a swim sounds delightful.
and so she starts getting undressed too.
And she takes no, yeah, let's see, removed her boots, unbuttoned her tunic, pants, and shucked them onto the grass. My undergarments were modest enough that I wasn't showing much, but I still looked straight at him as I stood on the grassy bank. So she is just like, here we go.
She's returning it. And this is me at this point, like, all right, it's
And
time.
they're going to do it.
It's yeah, we chapter 18. That's how long it took. It took 18 chapters
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
copulate.
So slowly, his eyes roved down and then up as if he were studying every inch, every curve of me. And even though
Yep,
I wore my ivory under things, the gaze alone stripped me bare.
way higher.
Yeah,
Yep, way
like
up,
this is
way up.
very thirsty.
Okay. Yep.
His
Doesn't
eyes
stop
met
there, I don't
mine.
think.
He gave me a lazy smile before removing his clothes button by button. I could have sworn the gleam in his eyes turned hungry and feral enough so that
There,
I
wait,
had to
wait,
look away.
stop,
Feral.
stop. Full stop.
Mhm.
Feral.
Mhm.
How, I mean, we should have another meter or like
For the
gauge or something for
for how animalistic is Tamlin?
no, just like the time between ferals. Just
Oh,
like how many
it has
chapters has it been?
been
Two? Two
two chapters
chapters?
since your last feral.
Feral. It's like ding dong. This is your normal feral recording. Just so you
Yeah.
your feral reminder. That's what I need, a
What is
feral reminder. I can't even say it anymore. Anyway,
right? We said feral. It's now just a noise.
feral. Yeah.
It's not a word anymore.
No.
Um,
Yeah, okay. So anyway, he's still feral as much
he's
as he
still
is
feral
hot. He's
and he's very hot. So a
yep.
broad chest, arms corded with muscle, long, strong legs. He was not built like Isaac, whose body had very much been in the gangly place between boy and man. No, Tamlin is a man.
I think I was just like it's like comparing like it's like comparing a I don't know. I really it's like that
Yeah,
comparison just like had me
right.
rolling, I think, because the
Oh
idea
yeah,
of like
no.
trying to compare these two, it's like Maybe you should have done a comparison between like Tamlin and
Well, but obviously, like Isaac is kind of the only person she's been intimate with. So
it is. It
her
is.
only point of reference is this boy about her age who was
Right.
what, 20, 21,
Sure.
19, in that same 19, 20, 21. And she's looking at this man and she's like, oh, man, you are a man.
Oh, so this is what a man looks like, which
Yes.
ladies out there, I'm gonna let you know that I'm sure you are aware this is not the case. We don't look like this. Well, some of us do.
Some do.
There are actually there's quite a few of them out there, but I was
I
gonna
mean,
say majority
Jason
do.
Momoa.
But sure, yeah. There's okay.
Broad chest, arms corded with muscle. Yep, let's
There's
go.
one. Okay, got one. There's one other man out there. One man that looks like this. No others. Anyway. Okay, yeah.
Why
So
fictional men are better.
can't argue with you there,
We
my
love
man.
fictional men, man, especially if they're morally gray.
Oh man, that's the best kind of
Morally
man.
gray is my favorite color.
Morally good. Just gonna paint all your walls in morally gray.
Morally gray. Yep.
Can't wait till that hits um I don't know, Bear comes out with a new color.
Yeah, and you have morally gray.
That's what they need. They need like in the ACOTAR color palette. It's
Right.
just like I don't know, morally
At this
gray.
point, we do not have a
Blood.
morally gray
No, we don't. No,
in our
not yet.
lives.
That's true. That'd be
We
for
have no we
other
have no
books.
man that you would call daddy.
No, I don't. And so far, admittedly, I mean, spoiler, I don't see that happening yet in this book
Not
or
even with
in the
Tamlin.
series. Yeah, no,
Tamlin is not daddy material.
I don't know how to respond to that.
That's all you need to know.
All right,
That's the
cool.
takeaway, daddy. He
He's
is not
not.
a daddy.
He's not a good father, which I don't think is how you meant that.
No, not at all. We're gonna get you there with the thirsty books, man.
I'm trying. Okay, but okay,
So
like okay, well, I'm just gonna throw this out here. All right.
okay.
So obviously a very attractive man is daddy
Yes.
material, or but a certain kind of man is daddy
Yes.
material.
Mhm.
Is a certain type of woman ever mommy material?
I don't.
I would argue no. But
Yeah, I don't know that it has the same gravitas
no, it does not.
as you know, daddy.
Daddy.
Pedro
Daddy.
Pascal, daddy. I
Does that
mean, he
work?
is the internet's daddy.
Is it? Is that what I
You
didn't
didn't know
realize?
this? You didn't
No,
realize like last summer he had like a whole thing where everyone's like, yeah, he's got daddy energy.
he's got dad vibes. All right.
Oh yeah, because he's just like that man who's gonna come in and he's got it handled,
Mhm.
and you're just like,
He's
and then
got
he did
it.
that Esquire
He's got it
photo
handled
shoot.
and you handled,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Is that
Mhm.
how it works?
Well, and
Okay.
he did that Esquire photo shoot on the dirty mattress where it was like so thirsty.
I I I
You
didn't
didn't
see
see
it.
this?
I didn't see
Oh,
it.
you didn't. Oh, well, I have to expose you to this.
Okay. Mm. Can you
You
just
need
show it to me? Just show it to me. I don't I don't expose
Oh.
me. I don't know. Not ready for that yet. We have
Yeah, like this is
temper
that most
myself.
notorious photo.
Oh,
Hello.
interesting. Hi. Yeah.
Hi, daddy. Like you see the daddy energy right here, man.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that man's handling it for you.
All right. Yeah.
He's strong. He's here. He's gonna take charge.
He's gonna take charge. I don't know. This isn't my area of
Mm.
expertise, but
It,
yes.
Daddy,
Oh, he's a good looking dude.
ask your wife. I
He's
mean, she
good. Oh
knows.
no, I'm sure. Yes, she's aware.
She also knows I do have a sticker on my water bottle that says Daddy's Girl and it has a picture of Pedro Pascal.
That's good.
It's great, right?
That's awesome. So some tells me those were not sold in conjunction with one
Oh, they
another.
were.
Really? They were?
It
Okay.
was, yeah.
All right. All
Oh
right.
yeah, no, it's this company. It's called Happy Wrap Co.
Okay.
And they specialize in like wraps for
Cups and
like
stuff.
cups
Yeah.
and like laptops and stuff.
Mhm.
And this one it has Pedro Pascal in the heart and it says Daddy's Girl, or you can get one that says Daddy's Boy because we are inclusive.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
Whatever you want.
yeah. I'm like, I
That's
am absolutely Daddy's Girl.
he's a good looking dude.
He is.
He's
And
not
he's
my
only starring in two of the biggest television shows
yeah,
in
there's
the
that.
world right now.
There's that. Yeah. Yeah.
So
He's not my dude. He's not my he's not how I picture if I was gonna be into dudes.
no, he's not your dude.
No, I don't think so.
Is there, I mean, do we have like a point of reference?
Um, ad- Admittedly, it's not something I think about often,
I mean, I wouldn't.
but I bet yes.
We're,
I'm
I
gonna say
mean,
yes, there
we're all
is.
flexible enough that we all can realize that there's probably like for
Oh
you
no,
a dude, and there's women out there for me. I'm sure.
for sure. Just off the top of my head, I don't
Can't
have one
think of
for
a
you.
guy that you'd be like, yeah,
Uh,
there's no saying no.
yeah.
Chris
I just
Evans,
don't know. I just don't know. That's it's a good start. Yeah,
right?
it's a good
Right.
start. You can't. That's
America's ass.
that's it's there. It's a nice ass.
It is a nice ass.
It is it's something to strive for, whether to achieve in however manner,
I mean, it's
Um,
why they made that joke in
yeah,
Avengers Endgame
and
about America's
also
ass.
in Miss Marvel, if you watch
Yes.
that
Oh my
series.
God, that's right. They did do it in Ms.
Yeah,
Marvel.
like the Marvel Con or whatever. I
Yep.
forget what they call it.
Yep.
The Avenger Con. That's what it is.
Uh-huh. I do love Kamala. I'm so
Yeah,
happy. I
yeah.
love
No,
Kamala.
I think it turned out fine. I
Yeah, I
mean,
love her.
I fell off a lot of the Marvel stuff just because it was a lot to watch.
There's
But
so much.
yeah. Anyway, let's get okay. Let's get
Yeah, let's keep
super hyped
rolling.
up. Let's get to the sex in this chapter. That's definitely going to happen here soon.
Absolutely going to happen. We're going to now swim. We
100%.
are swimming.
Yep. Swimming is just a metaphor for
And okay, I
crazy
have to ask
sex.
you,
Sure.
did you have a moment, because I did, where at this point when they go swimming, I
Mhm.
had completely forgot that he was always wearing a mask.
I I definitely had points where I'd forgotten. Yes. I don't. I can't honestly remember if I because I know she definitely brings it up, and it was
Because
kind of
she,
like a stark reminder that yeah, he's got a mask
yes.
on. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because it goes like when because he dunked his head under the surface, and when he came up, he was grinning, sparkling streams of starlight running along the contours of his mask. And I went,
yeah,
oh, that's right.
yeah. Yep.
Like
There's
we're
that
only
thing on
seeing
his
half a
face.
homie's face.
Yeah, the whole time. Like it could just be. I mean, like, but let's be honest though. Like, how much you gonna hide under the like just this amount? You know what I mean? Like, it's not
I
like
mean,
he's gonna be like horribly.
what was the joke that Blake Lively made in Green Lantern? You think
Oh, I
because
never
you
saw
hid your cheekbones, I wouldn't recognize you?
it.
Because it was
That's
something. Because
true.
yeah, he's wearing that teeny tiny, and she's like, "Really?
It's
I
like
know
that's
it's
it.
you."
Yeah, like I always got me about all the superheroes. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously Clark Kent Superman thing, but anyway. Um, yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, I think she mentions. I don't know if it's at this part. Yeah, maybe it was where she's like, caught herself thinking about what it might look like underneath the mask.
Yeah.
Every time she says that, I just think to myself, like, probably a lot like what you do see.
Hmm.
Like it's, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't know that there's a lot that we're missing out, by him not having.
Right, the mask, yeah.
Yeah. So they talk about her father and how he lost his fortune in some risky business deals.
Yep.
Um, debtor, he creditors were came for him, all of that stuff.
And then they took
Um,
he got beat up pretty good. He got his leg broken, and they took off with whatever stuff, whatever he can fit in his
mm,
pockets, essentially.
yeah.
They left, found that cottage, and that's where they were for the remainder of their years until she shot a wolf in the eye.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what they talk about is, she goes that um he asked her, is that when you started hunting? And she goes, no. Even though we'd moved to the cottage, it took almost 3 years for the money to entirely run out. Um, and then she started, once they were broke, truly broke, that is when she started hunting, and she was 14. So she was 11 when her father lost his fortune. Um, and they moved to the cottage. And then they live out for 3 years on what money he still had. And that's when she starts hunting, and you know he asks her that, and this is like, again, this is they are falling in love. This is the moment because he looks at
Hmm.
her, he goes, well, what else have you figured out for yourself? And she goes, she doesn't say, there's no response. She doesn't respond to his question or anything, but just kind of smiles and starts talking to him about her time in the woods and hunting and trapping and learning to survive the
Hmm.
5 years that she did that. And then,
And
yeah.
I think she discusses too, and
Mm-mm.
regularly throughout the book, and she doesn't say it here. I might as well say it now. It's like she regularly says that she doesn't really enjoy hunting.
Mm-mm.
It was always just out of necessity. And
Yes.
even though people are like regularly mistaken, she's like, look, I didn't do it because I liked hunting. I had to feed my family, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even though it seems regularly there, especially early in the book, they're like, oh, you love hunting. We
Right.
know you like hunting. It's like, no, no, look, guys, come on. But anyway,
So then, yeah, and that kind of ends like a little section of the chapter because then it does that little break and we
mhm.
go to continue the chapter. We kind of
And guess
time
what?
jump a little bit.
No sex,
No sex.
no
None.
spice,
Nope.
none,
No,
none.
we just got really thirsty.
Super thirsty. It's like up to like it's over 9,000 at this
Nine
point.
thousand is that where we're at? That's fair because it shoots up. Like you get
Yeah.
really like, and I'm like, okay, this is what convinced me I don't love a slow burn.
Oh
Like
my
I will handle
gosh.
some slow burn,
This is the
but this is too slow.
okay. Let's get in close and talk about this. All right. Like let's
ASMR talking about the slow burn.
slow burn. I tell me this isn't a regular thing. This is just this book.
Oh no, it is a trope within spicy fiction, the slow burn.
I can't do it.
There are times when it's like I like it.
Sure.
This is too slow.
This is like okay, like I get it. It's
This
almost
is,
like it's like bad foreplay
you know what it reminds me of?
or like
The
not intense
slowest
enough.
slow burn in the history of slow burns on television.
What's that?
Firefly.
Okay. Okay. That's purposeful to
It
some
was, but
extent.
Mal and what's I always think of Miranda Bach. I forget her character's name, but
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
it's
I've only seen
their whole thing. They are constantly, it's always will they, won't they, will they, won't they, will
right,
they, won't
yeah,
they.
yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
just do it
Come on
already.
already. Come on.
We got one season in a movie. You could have done it.
There's ample time
There
for
was,
sex.
at the very least, just to make us happy. You knew
Sure,
it was
yeah.
never going to come back when you got your movie.
Right, right.
So just put it in the movie. Give us our happy ending.
No, you don't get it.
No, thank you,
Yeah.
Joss Whedon.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I was kind of like as I was reading this, I continually was asking myself, like, man, it's like, is this like tease constantly happening in these books? Like, is this regular? Like, do they not give you anything? Like, even other characters? I mean,
So it obviously it depends on the book. It depends on the tropes that are in said book. But slow burn is its own trope.
yeah,
I think this is probably slower than most slow burn.
okay, all right.
But I think like Fourth Wing had a little slow burnness to it because it did take a lot of that book for
I
us
want to
to
say
finally,
my wife said it was like the end of the book. It
yeah.
was like
But then once you're there, you're there.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, well,
And
I
it's
get that
good.
too. I get that.
This
And
was
that's
still lacking.
right. I gotcha. Yeah, I yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I
bad.
wasn't sure if this was like on purpose or whatever, and it's
It
like it's
is.
just
It definitely is, especially with how much we've now listened to of book two.
mhm.
I do think a lot of this is intentional
Sure,
for
sure.
what's to come.
Well, but okay, so hear me out.
Okay,
Like
I'm listening.
when I f- when we the idea came out that I'm gonna read these, we're gonna do this podcast, and
Mhm,
like I finally agreed to read these books or listen to them, however, yeah, digesting them in whatever manner.
mhm.
When I think smut, I mean, perhaps erroneously think like, oh, they're just fucking all the time. I think we went over this, right? It's
We
just like
did. We have by
it's
scale.
sex.
Yeah.
It's right, yeah. And it's just like the chapter happens and they have something happens, some fancy sex, and then it was like next chapter and then something, and then sex. Like that's like I'm like, I guess that's what's happening. I know that's dumb now. That's
No,
not
but
really
it's
how it
not
works, but
because like I would not, especially, but by this point, like I was 100% certain this is not smut.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody who tells you this is smut has
Right.
never read actual smut,
Sure.
because when we'll talk about what I actually consider smut.
Hmm.
It's called the Never King. It's a dark retelling of Peter Pan and Wendy.
Okay. What
Mm-hmm.
is okay? Well, anyway, is Wendy an adult by this time,
She
or
is.
like? Okay, so they at least. All right. All right. Okay.
Wendy is a full adult,
And
but in
she's
that book, literally, the first chapter is Wendy is having sex with a random dude before
oh,
she gets taken to Neverland.
interesting. Okay.
And then it's also a reverse harem.
Oh, okay. Fun.
I mean, we love it.
With the like with the
Couple of the Lost
the lost. As I
Boys.
say, are they lost
Couple of the
men?
Lost Boys.
Lost men at this
Pan.
point?
Well, there's two Fey princes
Because of
because
course.
there's no Tinkerbell.
Why not? What the?
You find out that Tinkerbell's like their mother of the two Fey princes who are hanging out with Pan. And then
All right.
there's the shadow of Neverland. The dark one is how she always describes him, as the four of them. And yeah, like literally, like very quickly does this devolve into
Or
like
evolve.
literally she's having sex in the first chapter. She gets taken away to
So
Neverland.
taken.
Yeah, she's kidnapped
All
straight
right. It's just
straight
straight
up
up.
kidnapped to Neverland.
Yoink.
She is, I don't know that she's there 24 hours before she's like blowing one of the Fey princes.
All right. Cool.
And I'm
Fun.
like, all right, that is
This is
smart.
this is my kind of like this is where I need to be. This
It
see
was
that's
good. It was enjoyable.
well, see that's what I imagined it to be. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know, I
They're
just
lying to you.
yeah, yes.
False
ACOT
advertising.
ACOTAR is not ACOT, at
It's
least yeah.
romanticy. It is
Right.
romanticy.
Okay. That's fair. The second book, yeah, definitely starts off. Yeah, we're not gonna get into that, but it
No,
definitely starts off. I'm not gonna say heavy, but it starts off with something.
it does. It does. It starts off running, I will say.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't, you kind of get dropped back into
Okay.
the world and then if you're off.
Okay, so is this okay? I would like to go over chapter 19 too. I know we're running late, so we'll try. I'll try and make it quick, but like it's pretty obvious who she's gonna fuck in the book.
Is it? Is it? Is it?
I mean, is it all? But
At this point, I will tell you, is we have
like,
this. So let's, okay, I want to wrap up the 18 really quickly, and then
let's do that. All right.
I'm gonna put my point on this then after this,
Okay.
because I think this is going to illustrate the point that I want to make in this moment.
Okay.
So we fast forward, it's been a few hours of just them hanging out, eating, lounging, swimming, just having a great time.
Yep.
They head back to the manor, and then Lucian and Feyre have a moment.
Yes.
So
He
Tamlin,
falls. Yeah. He goes on ahead. She kind of, or one of them falls behind, and they're kind of riding next to each other, kind of
yes,
thing. Yeah.
and they have this conversation kind of about the whole surreal situation.
He's
And Lucian
apologizing.
essentially apologizes.
Apologizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, look, he even says like I heard you yelling and I even hesitated and
Mm-hmm.
and he's apologizing for that as well. And just a full blown just like apology for his actions and everything he
Yeah.
did,
He says,
putting her
I
in
heard you
danger.
scream and I hesitated. Not long, but I hesitated before I came
Mhm.
running. Even though Tam got there in time, I still broke my word in those seconds I waited. And he
Mhm.
jerked his chin at the knife because she was going to give him back his jeweled hunting knife.
That's what it was. Right.
And he goes, it's yours. Just please don't bury it in my back.
Yeah.
So her and Lucian have a moment. And after that moment, as far as I am concerned, at this point, she is equally has a chance of fucking either Lucian or
No,
Tamlin. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because they're
no.
having a moment now.
Because you
I
want it
think
to
they're gonna be
happen, or
I
because
think
you're actually reading the book and thinking, oh, maybe it could happen.
I think it could.
No, I say I never at one point did I ever
I don't
think,
think she's fully put him in the friend zone in this moment. I think he's still an option. He's less of an option than
okay,
Tamlin, but I
okay,
think he's an option.
are we talking in canon or out or like are we talking in the fantasy or from outside the fantasy? Because like yes, if you're in the fantasy, you're like thinking like she does. Oh yeah, maybe she is thinking that maybe this is a cool guy, but
Yeah.
I honestly don't think so at all from
Oh no,
every
I don't.
perspective because because like
As the reader, I don't want it.
no, I not just
But
that, but like
I think an argument could be made that her and Lucian connect more than her and Tamlin at this point,
oh sure, that I will admit,
and
but I
that
never
there is an
once
equal chance that
no
she could.
no
This is see, well, maybe this is because I read too much reverse harem,
yeah okay oh so
because
maybe
I'm
you
sitting
thought
here
both of
going,
them oh it
maybe it's a
could
why
be
choose situation. Maybe she
sure
will
okay
have both.
yeah no so like that kind of leads into my question because like and leading into the second book already
Mhm.
it, it it's obvious like, right off the bat who's getting laid or who or you know or at least like
We know
talking about
Feyre
them
is going to get laid. That is, I
we
think, the
know
only character
okay well
we know who
yes
is going to get fucked.
I knew from the beginning of this book as soon as she met Tamlin that she's gonna fuck this dude
See, I think I probably thought that,
sure
but now, like I said, going back and looking back, I'm sitting here going, at this point, at the end of chapter 18, I think there's an equal chance.
no I think you want it to happen I
That
don't think
could be too. I'm not going to rule that out. I'm
sure
not going to
sure
say
sure
that maybe there isn't this external factor of I love a why choose romance.
sure yeah
Um,
yeah
so
but
I like the
I
idea of her being with both of them at the
sure
same time.
I never believed it because like never once is Feyre described as eyeing his muscles
Mm-mm.
or
No,
like
oh no,
noticing something about his sensual
it's definitely
face
like
or
Tamlin, Lucian.
sure.
But I think you could have that very much. It could have, in all of this book that we have left,
Hmm.
it could have swerved,
It
and
could
it could
have.
have been It could have been Lucian and not Tamlin.
It could have. It did not.
It did not.
No. And yeah,
And then Tamlin just proved to be mediocre.
yeah. I I pretty much called it from the beginning that it's like, yeah, okay, these are the two that are doing the dirty.
Yeah.
Um, hold on. My
I know,
alarm's
Scat.
going off.
Oh, good.
Um, and yeah, I wasn't sure if like I don't know. I'm guessing that's not always the thing. Like maybe there's like twists. Like okay, like these are the two that are gonna have sex. Oh, I'm tricking you, and actually it's gonna be these two. Or okay, these two have sex, but then, oh, these two also have sex. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess that's probably switched up a lot. I'm assuming. I don't know.
It depends on the book. It depends on the story. I mean, it can
Uh,
go any number of ways.
yeah, sure, sure.
But I feel like at this point, like she's kind of at a fork.
See, I never thought that.
No,
No, I.
I don't know that I thought it while I was reading it. And
Mhm.
if I'm not just seeing this in retrospect,
Excuse me.
um,
If it's something I've learned about women, which is still very little, I the
we are complex
muscles,
creatures.
but yeah, muscles seem to be particularly in style all the time.
But Lucian is never described as being ugly or not
Nope.
attractive, but he's not
He's
described
never
with the
described.
same
His muscles are never
attractiveness
described.
as,
Not once. In the
no,
very beginning, she might talk about how he's like
also like a
it's
big
like
burly dude. Yeah.
Tamlin, we get like corded muscles and like
Mhm.
his jawline and like
He's
his
chiseled. Yes.
chiseled muscles, and then Lucian is yeah, he's pretty well built.
Yeah. Right. I mean, honestly, that is kind of the,
It's like oh yeah, he's okay. Yeah, he's built.
yeah.
He's built
She
pretty good
spends
too.
a lot of time thinking about his eyes, though.
True. She was like,
And the eyes are the window to the soul.
can't have sex with a person's eyes that I'm aware of.
Well,
I
I've
haven't.
also not read it or seen it, but it
I'm not okay. You're right.
stranger things have
Let's
happened.
not put it past anyone. All right.
I bet there's fanfic somewhere.
You know what? And I have an image right now in my head. I don't know that I want to discuss it. I'll just put it out there. Lucian. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say it.
I
No,
was thinking it was going to
no.
be like eyeballs touching.
Lucian only has one eyeball.
He does to touch.
The other one
Is
might be
metal. Yeah.
could possibly be removable.
I mean, it has to be.
Let me leave it
It's
that.
very Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah, right. Yeah, clean that thing at
Cough
some
it up,
point.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
clean it. It's just, so
Well,
I'm
but
gonna
it's
leave.
magic, so maybe there's no.
Maybe just who knows? You're right. It's
I
like
have no idea.
self-cleaning. It's like
Yeah.
self-cleaning. Like that's
Like
like
an oven.
bewitched everything. And Lucian pops in. He's like, you couldn't just made it clean itself too.
Right.
It's like, all right, fine.
Of all the things, right? All right. I know we want to do chapter 19. Let's take a
Yeah.
quick pause really quickly.
All right.
Um, I just want to. Okay,
We're back.
we're back.
Um, I think
I
we're
think
gonna
we're gonna
stop it
wrap it
there.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get in.
Any
We're running
final
long.
thoughts, kind of those two? Because both of those chapters, while not particularly long, had a lot of things happening
Very a
in
lot of
one.
important stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the death of the fairy or the
Mhm.
murdering, I guess, of the
Yeah.
fairy. It seems weird to put them back to back, but it felt very natural because it's like, Tamlin's kind of like, we need something after that, it's
They
like,
did. They
and
needed
he
self care.
supplied, yeah,
Yeah.
and he definitely supplied, and it was kind of cool to like see the lands. I love nature as nature doesn't like me so much because I have bad allergies and stuff, but I do love nature and I love that descriptive land and like those,
Yeah.
and it was it was a nice fantasy description, right?
Yes.
That's always cool to hear about like the area and stuff. So that was a lot of fun. And then there was the dip in the pool, which should have been a lot more fun than it was. But
And if
there's a
this was truly smut, it would have been.
yeah, yeah. It's like, it didn't have to be like sex, maybe just like some fooling around or
A
something.
little
Does that happen?
closeness.
Yeah. Does that happen in smut or is it just like it's
Yeah.
all or nothing? Okay. I
No,
mean,
I would say that there are definitely times where it is that teasing moment, like where
right.
they get very, very close. He pulls her in while they're swimming, and then
Like
maybe they're interrupted because Lucian comes barreling down the hill or something,
that that would be
cannonballs
funny.
into the pool. Like,
Splashing wine around drunk. Oh
right,
god, here we go again, Lucian.
right. Like,
Oh,
and that would have been
or
totally valid.
it even better is like he keeps ruining it because secretly he wants in with Feyre.
See,
We got a fan rewrite.
we have some fanfic. Yeah, I
Yeah, we
bet
got some fanfic to
we need to
do.
go check archive of our own.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, it was kind of disappointing because like it seems like every chapter where there's like some part where they're getting close and it's just like, okay, it's gonna
I
happen.
think this is
No,
the
it's not.
closest we've gotten,
It
though.
is, it is. But I think there's like a couple more instances. Actually, man, I got
No,
this
honestly, I think the next one is like the best one that happens.
I mean the one because I really don't remember much else.
So they don't have the okay. So I know in the next few chapters we're going to get
Oh, I know what you're thinking
the
of. Yes.
ritual
The ritual. Okay.
is coming,
Yes.
and there's going to be that scene with her and
Yes.
Tamlin
Her and Tamlin, yes.
during that ritual that I
That one might
believe
say is wait, say that.
I think it is the spiciest scene in this whole book.
Do you think so?
I think so.
I mean I get why.
It hit all the right. Ooh,
How
it hit
many
all the right
times
chords.
how many times do you think they're gonna say feral during that? Or someone's gonna say
She
feral
said it a
during that
couple of
scene.
times, if I remember correctly, and there were claws.
There's definitely claws and
You
teeth
know,
and
teeth and
stuff.
claws and stuff.
Mhm.
So
She's
yeah,
definitely a bit of a furry, it seems, I
yeah.
think.
I don't kink shame.
What'd you say?
I don't kink shame. So
No, no, it's cool. Go for it. Do
she'll
your
just
thing.
brush him, and it'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of really good interaction and
Yeah,
I think
this is the
Tam
turning point in their relationship, I think, and this is them starting to
well and Tamlin actually gets
fall.
character. Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He's not just this guy who's beastie.
Right. I'm sorry. He's feral. Thank you
He's
very
feral.
much.
Excuse me. This
So
feral man.
his corded muscles are so feral.
Feral.
He looked at me ferally.
Drink every time we say feral.
Oh my God. The
But
best
don't
worst.
actually.
Yeah, the best worst drinking game.
Yeah, because I don't want to be responsible for what happens after that.
Seriously. Seriously.
All right, I think we're going to call it quits, and we will pick up in our next episode with chapter 19, which picks up the next morning. So it does, I think it is a good stopping point.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Good place to stop.
yeah. So we will see you guys next time.
Mhm.
Don't forget to, like and subscribe and comment your thoughts below. We want to hear from you.
And share. Go ahead and hit that share
Yeah.
link. Send to someone else.
Yeah.
That'd be a great way to spread the
It's a
word.
great buddy read.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. That's how this started. Was we were just buddy reading it, and then we were like, we have to talk about this on a
We got to
podcast.
do this.
So
I have no idea what I'm doing, or I have no idea how to anything about this stuff.
we have no idea.
Amanda
We're just winging it
Amanda does. She
a
knows.
little, just a little.
Oh yeah, it doesn't sound like a little.
I know a lot about smut. That's for sure. Unhinged smut, even.
All right.
All right. So thank you, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.